Hi everybody, my name's Olivia and today we're here with Canadian director DEBORAH Chow. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
DEBORAH has done Copper, Murdoch Mysteries, Beauty and the Beast, Rain, so a lot of Canadian content. I guess you can't get away from the cold.
I keep trying, but it's not happening, yeah.
Let's briefly discuss your history. So you went to McGill for your undergrad, and then you did a MFA in directing at Columbia. So how hands-on was that schooling process for you?
Well, my undergrad was basically, it was a lit degree in cultural theory and art history, so it was pretty much a Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
So it wasn't really until I got to film school. I did make my first film at McGill, which was kind of just for the hell of it when I was running around with friends, and then kind of got the bug there. But Columbia, it was a very intensive process. It was a great school because I think for me it was ideal because I was writing and directing.
Oh, wonderful.
And it focused very much on sort of finding your auteur voice. Essentially, they were trying to produce auteurs that, figuring out what your vision was and figuring out what it is you had to say, which I think was probably in a lot of ways the most invaluable because, as you go on as a director, it's so much about what's your vision, what do you have to say, what's your take on this, and
Precisely.
you need it first to actually figure out what that is.
So you were able to produce some decent content in schooling that you were able to take on to the real world, I guess you could say.
Yeah, when we were there, basically I made 2 short films, and it was an American school. It was one of the big American schools for film schools, so these short films were significant. These were big deals, these shorts. And then I wrote a couple feature scripts as well. So coming out, I had 2 shorts as a director, and I also had some scripts.
Yeah, I did see that on your IMDb.
Yeah.
A woman of many talents.
Yeah. Well.
Let's discuss how quickly after did you get an agent after you graduated? I know you got an American agent before a Canadian one.
I did, yes.
Is there a certain reason why you chose that route?
It just sort of happened, I think, because I went to film school in the U.S. and I was in New York. I just essentially naturally went to the U.S. system to start with, and I think I was pretty fortunate because I basically through the school they did this thing called faculty selects, and it was a very prestigious little program. But if your film was selected for it, they would take you to LA and they would basically invite a ton of managers and agents. So I actually, off my second short film, signed with a manager, a good manager there. Even before I was finished school, and I think at the time I didn't realize how lucky I was to have that happen. So it was actually very sort of organic and happened very naturally.
That's the best way, right?
It is, yeah, because I had friends that I went to Columbia with who, many years down the line still can't get representation, and it sort of feels like, hopefully, it comes and it's easy. Otherwise, I think it gets quite a bit harder.
And it was at the right time for you too.
It was, yeah.
So you took advantage of that,
Exactly.
which is great. So what did you show the agent? Did you have a demo? Did you have a film?
I had basically 2 short films, and I think probably the 2 features I gave him at the time, and came as both a writer and director. And it sort of originally actually started, I sort of go between the 2 with writing, so I've written for hire and I've directed for hire.
Oh,
and then I have my own stuff that I'm obviously writing and directing for feature work. So it was a mixture of the 2.
Wonderful. And I have a question, because you've done so much, in regards to prep. Have you ever gotten a script in the early stages and realized, hey, we don't have that location, or we don't have the budget for that? What do you do?
I think it's hard. I mean, it depends what you're on. Like, television is quite different, obviously, in making your own feature. Money is always an issue, no matter what, and so I think
It's never enough.
it's never enough, and I think even if the budget gets higher, then the expectations and the ambition gets higher anyway.
Very true.
So nothing is ever like sort of, you're always pushing the envelope, I think, with the money. With prep, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, with the feature, it's like definitely it starts to affect the script because if you have too many locations, you can't make the day, or there's just not enough money. You start looking at ways to change the script, to cut it down and
So
to
then
get it down.
who contacts the producers, or do you talk to the producers, or
It's
the
usually,
writers, or?
I mean, honestly, it takes so long to get the financing with features that you usually are going through it for so long that everybody's aware of it to start with because they're budgeting it as they're trying to raise the money. So it's flagged pretty early, obviously, if there are issues, and then you try to sort of get the script to match the production.
Very cool. And last but not least, if there was another job you could do on set, what would it be and why?
I don't know. I mean, obviously I would write, but I'm sort of doing that as well. I think probably on set, I would be in the art department if I wasn't directing or writing. Maybe just want to try production design or something like that.
Has that always been an interest of yours, or just something you've like noticed from the side when you're working?
It's always been an interest, I think, just because, the art department's fun. And they do cool stuff, and, if you're visually minded, it's very much about composing, and you notice it a lot.
Well, thank you for your time, Deborah.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
And thanks for watching, everybody.